right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the third round here of Topstep's Trading Foundation. We're going to be talking about the trading platform today. Just as a reminder, tomorrow is an important one. We're going to be talking about some of the cardinal rules of trading. Should have sound now. We should be in good shape. Let us know if we are having, yes, we have sound. Thank you, Connor. Boy, we got a whole bunch of folks here again from all over the world. I've seen Illinois, icy Illinois, and I've seen, I think, Nigeria. It's always great to see everybody and know where you're coming from. And as always, I always look forward to the time we get to spend together. We've got Trading Foundation 101, and then after that, we've got group coaching today. I'll drop the group coaching in at some point here in the chat room. Let's get moving though. My name is John Hoagland, the middle-aged performance coach here at Topstep. I much prefer middle-aged to senior. 39 years in February I've been in the futures industry. It's hard to believe I'm only 24 years old. We're probably going to get to know each other. I probably don't have to do all this introduction so much, but did spend 20 plus years on the floor of the mercantile exchange as well as other exchanges. Come from a long line of traders. My dad was at the board of trade for 40 years before me. Did have to migrate to screen trading like everybody who started in the trading pit that's still in the industry. Stepped out of the pit in 2009. Started trading on screen and met Michael Patak and Eddie and Melissa here at Topstep. They told me what they were doing. Had to be part of it. It's been my honor to be able to be here for the last 10, coming up to 11 years, and to talk to and help in any way I can thousands of traders from all around the world. And it's great to see everybody from around the world here. A fun-filled day of futures learning. Love it. We've got a couple other real experts here today. Let's hear from Jack and John. How are you guys today?
We're doing great. I just thought we were kind of sitting here in the background like ghouls and no one really knew who we were exactly. So we decided to add this slide today to kind of introduce ourselves. I'll go first. I'm Jack. I'm the head of content here at Topstep for the last almost 3 years. In my trading career, I worked at two probably 300 plus people trading shops at Chopper Trading, which was acquired by DRW, for about 6 years in the auto spreader group. So when we talk about algorithmic trading and things like that, I have some experience there. And just a few other things about me as well. My partner, John Doherty, we're just a few blocks away in Chicago right now, but on the virtual meeting. How you doing, John?
Hey, great. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, I got my start at the Chicago Board of Trade as a runner when I was still in college. From there, I took a job as a phone clerk for RJ O'Brien in the grain room at the Board of Trade. I did that for just over a year before moving on to a professional bond trading group where I stayed for the next 12 years on Panel Financial. Later on, I started getting into writing market commentary, which led me to Topstep just about 2 years ago, and here we are.
So, JD, you and I have a connection on the exchange that it's kind of a distant connection, but it's kind of strange because I started at the Mercantile Exchange, and my dad was at the Board of Trade. Your dad was at the Mercantile Exchange, and you started at the Board of Trade.
That's correct. My father was he filled paper. He was a broker in the lumber pit at the Mercantile Exchange for close to 30 years.
And as you know, as I started as a runner, got a job as a phone clerk at Chicago Grain. And then I got hired by another broker in the lumber pit named Edmund Krasminski, who was basically stood kind of right next to your dad. So I know your dad from 1983.
Yeah, that's a long time for sure. I think he actually got a start around 1975 or 1976. So he spent quite a bit of time down there. And yeah, those names you just dropped, I definitely know those guys.
uh, so it's it's a big world, and it's a small world down there. You talk to people that that know people that worked on the trading floor, and they're always like, "Hey, do you know Bob Jones?" No. Do you know Steve Smith? No. And you start working for Topstep, you hear me talking about the lumber pit, and you're like, you know my dad then. Yeah, I know Jack. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about the TS Trader platform. Now, there's a lot of platforms that are out there for traders, whether you're trading futures, Forex, whatever you're trading. There's a million platforms, and we're going to focus today on the TS Trader platform. I've got it here as the care and feeding of the platform, and I'm glad that I have my other two experts here, because there's a lot of features about the platform, and we're going to go through most of the major ones. If you're looking for somebody that is going to teach you how to write strategies into the trading platform, that's not going to be me. I'm of an older generation, and I am not that tech savvy. But as for just kind of learning about the platform, how to find things, how to change things, and you know, how to get it set up. A lot of folks ask how I get it set up, how I set up the market profiles. We're going to go through all of that piece by piece. I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions, and you know, if need be, we can go back and revisit the platform, even maybe start looking at some of the other platforms over time. And just like I comment every day, I'm not, nobody knows everything. Nobody knows everything about every platform. I'm certainly not that guy, but I want to get you off to at least a good start. Even if you are already trading, there may be some things that we're going to be able to touch on today that you didn't know about. Hopefully, we're going to get a very thorough view of the TS Trader platform. So I've basically kind of set up a couple of things on the platform so that we can get started, and you know, kind of find out where the major things that we're going to be looking for at the very beginning are. When you open up the platform, you may not have the charts that you want up. You may not have the domes that you want up. You may not have the quote board that you want up. You may not want to show your positions and orders in such a way. You may want to minimize this, which would give you more space on the screen. Trade-Ovate or TS Trader is available to use on a desktop. There's a desktop downloadable version, and there's also the version that you can use on the internet. So you can use this platform on a desktop. You can use it on an Apple computer. You're just going to have to use the browser version of it. Market profile does come with TS Trader, and I'm gonna show you where all that is. And I try and avoid looking at the questions and everything until we kind of get into this. So when I'm looking for something new, a chart, something that I want to add, I'm always depending on this little plus sign here that says add modules, because everything you're going to want to see is on that. We've got the quote board that's already up. If you want to grab a chart, you can grab the new charts or the legacy chart. The legacy charts are fine. The new charts are fine. If you want a TPO or market profile chart, you're going to need to grab it from here. If you want a dome, you want an order book, you want to see your positions, of course. We've got most of these already on the screen. but I do want to show you how you can click, drag, move things around. So I've got the E-mini S&P dome up. It takes a fair amount of space. I'm going to squeeze this a little bit. Okay, we're still going to be able to see our orders. That's going to give me a little more space. Now, if I wanted to add another dome, I can do it one of two ways. I can add one here. Let's add crude oil. Now I've got the crude oil dome and I've got the E-mini S&P dome. If I want to put them separate, I can grab this tab and I can put it one over the other. Not going to be able to see much of the depth of market, but you can just move them around that way. One thing about the desktop version is if I want to pull this out, I can. So now I've got a browser page that I can move to different screens. So one thing about the desktop that I do like, because I may want to, I may want to put this on another screen or whatever the case may be. One thing about this is once you remove it from the page that you're already on, you can't put it back in. So we're going to X out of this. And we're going to go back and we're going to put it back the way we had it. Okay. Now, placing orders on the dome. I'm sure that most of us are well aware of how to place orders on the dome. If you want to, you can place orders right here. Let's say I want to buy one contract. If the price gets down here, this quantity is my click quantity. If I wanted to, let's say, place an order for 5 contracts, I can put my click quantity to 5, and I can come down here and I can put an order in to buy 5 contracts. I can sell it by putting my cursor over here and clicking, and now I'm working an order to sell 5 contracts up here at 47.19 quarter. Let's see if I can get both of these filled real quick. That'll be a nice tasty trade. 47.1375. I'm working to buy 5, working to sell 5. You can also see them on the chart. These are those orders. I'm going to take this and skip the auto fit. No. So we're working to buy those and sell those. Now I'm going to cut this. That auto fit gets to me. Okay, so well, anyway, we know we are working these orders. 1975, this got stuck in there somehow. So we can move those orders. We can click and drag them if we want to. They're still on there. We can also cancel them by clicking on the orders in the dome or clicking on the X on the chart. There's also the ability for us to put brackets on the trades. So we're going to go with OCO. I'm going to go here and go with brackets on. And just for presentation, I'm going to go with 5 ticks either side of the market. We have one contract. So now I can see where my stop and my take profit target are going to be. If I buy one right here, actually sell one right here, I just sold one. My stop is going to be here. My target is going to be here. When one order gets filled, the other order is canceled. So we will watch and see what happens here if we want to. It's important safety tip. Sometimes we may be working an order that we don't see on the dome. Okay, we just got our stop hit here, it looks like. Yep. So sometimes we may be working an order that we don't see on the dome. I'm going to turn my brackets off now. You can also set multiple brackets for multiple contracts. You can choose ticks or value, dollar value for the brackets. You can also pick your stop type. When you're picking your stop type, use a stop or stop market. Stop limits aren't guaranteed a fill, especially if you're trading something that's a little bit illiquid like the NASDAQ. And let me explain why. Another safety tip. You see how thin the NASDAQ is and how fast this market can move. If you put a stop limit,
order rejected.
If you put a stop, oh no, I just bought one. Hang on. Let me flatten up. So if you were to put a stop limit on this, if price comes up here and there is no offer or not enough offered at the price where your stop is, Lacey, easy girl. There's somebody walking a dog by the house here, and she thinks everybody's her friend. So if I were to put this stop in here and I'm short here, let's just say, okay, we're short here. If this is a stop limit, it can only be filled at that price, but it's not guaranteed to fill. If there isn't enough offered here, when this gets executed, it will just become a standard buy order that will just sit here and wait for price to come back to it. So it leaves you completely out in the wind if you have a short position and your stop limit doesn't get filled. If you use a stop market, you may get a few ticks of slippage. Your 22.5 stop might get filled to 23.5, maybe worse, maybe less, but at least you're out. Excuse me 1 second, folks. Easy girl. All right, so now I know I'm short of, I have a short position here. I know that we're still in this, and just like if I want to make sure that I don't have any orders working that are off this dome, just like if I just want to make sure I'm not working any orders or have any positions, I'm going to click here, exit at market and cancel. It's going to exit the position that I'm currently in. It's going to cancel all orders, and I'll even hit it a couple of times just to make sure that I'm not working anything. Did it work? Looks like we still have an order. Oh, that's the wrong product. See, now I'm telling you, this is the S&Ps. We left this in. Gonna hit exit market and cancel. Now we know we have no orders working. We can also see if we have any orders working here. All the orders that we've placed have either been filled or canceled. So you want to make sure that when you are done for the day, you want to make sure that you are done for the day. You hear a lot of folks say, hey, I left an order in and I got a rule violation because of it. Don't do that to yourself. We don't want you to do that. Okay. So if I want to just pull a brand new order, look, I want to pull a brand new chart out. So I'm going to go back to my plus sign here and I'm going to grab a legacy chart and I'm just going to click it, hold it, drag it, and put it right here. This is going to be my crude oil chart. All righty. You can maximize it here. You can actually trade on the, just using market orders or join the bid or join the offer. You've got the exit at market and cancel here. You can set up your brackets here. You can minimize it again. We can go back to where it was. You can also add. If we want to add a new chart to a legacy chart. This is a new chart, so I'm going to be able to do this, I think. So I'm just going to add this one. Now I'm going to go to chart type. Nope, I'm going to have to grab it from over here. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add a market profile. So I got to go to the old chart type or the new chart, not the legacy chart. And I'll click, hold, drag, and put the tab here. It's going to tell me to go ahead and click that. Now, because this is my account, it's defaulting to the TPO charts. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold here, so please forgive me. Getting into the charts, we have. Now we'll get to the TPO chart here very shortly. We know we can't get that. We can't get that on the legacy chart. There is a whole bunch of tools, your indicators, different charts, different chart types, and drawing tools. The things that I hear a lot is, how do you put the volume profiles on your chart? Well, this is crude oil, which opens at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go to the 8 o'clock bar. I'm going to click, let it go, and then drag it to the 1 o'clock bar because it's the end of the 1 o'clock bar, 1:30, where crude oil finishes. So this is going to have my volume profile on it. You're going to see what we got here. We've got volume profile from today, 8 o'clock. And the market is still open. So if I want the profile to continue to populate, it's going to populate over here on the right side. And we are going to let it populate there until the close, and then we can stop it from continuing to populate over there just by moving it 1 bar back. Crude oil is still open, so we still want it to continue to populate. If you are a fib user, Fibonacci extensions and retracements are here. We just go to where we want it. And here's to today's high. And then I can drag it over. You can also change a lot of things about it. You can change the parameters. You can change the colors of the lines. You can enable or disable some of the lines. You can also adapt the lines to anything that you want. You can change the colors again. You can thicken the lines if you want. You can make them much brighter. You see, we've got these two thickened up. We've got the halfway mark right here. Some people kid me like I put them in upside down, but doesn't matter. Here we go. You can also turn them into rays. If you click that and save, they're going to go into what? Infinity in that direction. So we're going to take those off, remove. If you want to annotate, so I'm going to I'm going to click it there and I'm going to double click and I'm going to say, yesterday, low. I can change the color of the writing. I can also increase the size of the font. Okay, here's yesterday's low or today's low, as the case may be. You can click and drag it to wherever you want it to be. If you want to create a trend line, you go here and you can also make that into a ray or a line. A ray is just going to go from the starting point into infinity. You can also change the color. Let's go red. We can also thicken up the line if we want to. And if we put this cursor over it, double click, we can remove it. We can also remove all lines. So be careful about that. You have several other things like this trend tool. Not a tool that I'm using often. Shapes. There's something you want to point out or remember. Let's see here. Something about this low we want to remember. There it is. If there's a gap that you want to remind yourself if the market comes back to it, like the gap in the crude oil here this morning. Here we go. And then I can also make an array so that at some point in the future, if I want to be able to remember, hey, there was a gap here, I can even put an annotation on it. Excuse me. Again, I apologize. I can even put an annotation of what day the gap is from. I tend to keep them there until they're filled, and then I'll take them off. I'll remove them. Once they are filled, we're back off. Oops. Remove. All right. Enough shapes. Remove all drawings. Okay, we've got an idea here. Horizontal lines I do use quite a bit on my charts because I have the weekly kickoff levels. Now I can make this any color. I'm going to make this white, and I'm also going to make it a ray so it can go into forever. Thicken it up a little bit. Okay, now I can also make an annotation. 8260. Last week's mid. So I know last week's middle was 82.60. Now, of course, we know that that is not true. This is, of course, for example only. We'll remove the line. Now, sometimes if you are thinking about measured moves, you can use the fib. I also tend to sometimes use the vertical line. You know, if I have a high, a low to a high, and then a new low to another high, sometimes I'll use this just to do the measured move so I can see where the measurement is up to. All right, now, if we want to change the time frame, this is a 30-minute chart. We can go a day. Here's a daily chart. We're not going to get much on this because when we go from a 30 to a day, it tends to only hold what the 30-minute chart holds. So we can go 50 minutes, we can go 15 minutes, we can go 5 minutes, CL 30, CL. So we're going to grab another chart. Hey.
Hey, Hogue, while you're messing with this here, there's
Yes,
a
go ahead.
few questions that I see coming up about the distance the data goes back and whether they only see daily as the highest time frame. Is there a monthly option, or are there continuous futures, or is it because it would
There
be
are
tough?
continuous
Okay.
futures, and that's what I'm trying to get to here. Here's the continuous E-mini S&P. Okay, to get the continuous, it's ampersand or and sign, whatever this is,
The at.
the at
Yeah.
and ES. And if you put that up, you're going to get, it's taking us all the way back to, we get some pretty good stuff here. Here's 19. So yeah, the continuous chart is at, and then of course, whatever the product you're looking for. It's a good question. And
Cool.
what are the other ones?
Is there a monthly time frame? We'll go to the others at the end of this, but is there a monthly time frame, or maybe it doesn't make sense because it only goes back 2 or 3 years?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. Thank you.
Now,
Hope that
there
helps
is-
those that ask.
Yep. There is a custom time frame, but it's in minutes. So I don't think we're going to be looking at monthlies in minutes. But now we get into the different types of charts. We get tick charts, volume range, momentum range, seconds, recent custom time frames. Some folks do like the 4-hour chart. You can zoom in, zoom out. The day, the time frame, type of chart. Yeah, bar chart. I'm going to go back to the 30-minute for this. You have the bar chart, line chart. Who can trade on a line chart? But you got bid ask, volume. Now, if you get real close, you can see it's like a footprint chart. Renko point and figure. Shows the grid. Trying to stop the auto fit on the chart, but if you have any adjustments to any of the trades, any of the tools you have, like I've got volume on this, I can remove it just by canning it there. We'll go back to candlesticks. All right, indicators, channels, Bollinger Bands, Keltner channels. There are some adjustments that you are able to make with them. They are set to a specific default. So here's your Keltner channels. You can change them. You can change colors. You can thicken. You can shit can that if you don't mind the. Sorry about the
Tisk,
vulgarity
tisk.
there. You got Bollinger Bands, pivot points, floor pivot points. I'm going to take these off. Now we've got some things that everybody's interested in, the moving averages. You got exponential moving averages. You got simple moving averages. We're going to go with a simple. I'm going to put a 50 up here. And I'm going to keep it blue and thicken it up a little bit and save. Okay, now we've got another simple. We're going to put the 100 up. And I'm going to make this white. And then we're going to put the 200 session up. We're going to make this one red. Exponentials work the same way. Hulls work the same way. Triangular, they all work the same way. It's just in the calculation of the moving averages where the difference is going to be. I'm going to take these off. Pivot points. Okay. Now you can set templates for your different, if you want different screens up, you can also see, I've got a few of them here. We've got weekly kickoff, light default, dark default. Danny's got a template here. You can save your templates here. And so let's move along here. We've taken a look at the different charts, different chart types. Go into the TPO here now in the E-mini S&Ps. This is a kind of a popular question, and this might take a few minutes. So because I'm already defaulted to how I want these set, when I open one, they're already there. But when you open a TPO chart, they're not going to look like this. All the TPOs are going to be one color, and the time frames are going to be off a little bit. So you're going to go to configure chart elements. Did not mean to click there. I apologize. And you're going to double click on the chart itself. Now this is the chart editor, or the properties for the market profiles. I want my profiles in letters, and I want each TPO to represent one tick. I can change that just by simply doing this. If like in the NASDAQ has such big ranges, I have my TPO set to 4 ticks. If I want it to auto scale, I don't. So I turn that off. letter colors. This is the default. This is the color that you can see on all these letters. You want to be able to change those letters or change those colors because you're going to be able to see visually through time where a price had been in the profiles. So we're going we're going colors per letter. A period. If you left click, this is going to come up. Well, I've got it A and B in red. B, C in yellow or orange, E and F in a little bit lighter orange, G and H in yellow. And you can change the kind of hues of all of these if you really want to. But then I go, you know, I and J are green, K and L, little deeper green, M and N, blue. So when I see the profile, I can tell just by the colors of the TPOs where the time was. And it really helps if you're viewed out and you don't see the letters. Then we got session 1, 8:30 Central to 4 o'clock Central. Typically, I would probably put these off at end these at 3 or 3:30. It's an extra half hour. So I do want to see. We'll start letter is here. I can add another session. So if I wanted to add the overnight session, something going on, Jack?
Yes. Quick question for everyone. What is TPO?
Time, price, opportunity. It's the basics of the market profile, which we are going to be talking about in week 4, day 2, about the market profile. TPO is just a market profile, is just another way to organize the information. All right. So I can add another session. If I go 17, that's 5 o'clock here, right? 17 even to 8 a.m. and apply, save. So this gives me last night's profile. Actually, I think that's another profile. This should give me last night's profile, but it did not. Oh, I never saved it, I guess. But you can add another session. Delete. Initial balance, extensions, all of these are things that you're probably going to need to know a little bit more about the market profile or TPO charts. The profile on this one, I definitely want to see it. So I'm going to change it to white. It's going to extend the range. I'm going to apply. 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 Value area 70%. I want to see the value area. So again, I want to apply and save. So you can see the point of control here. So these TPO charts are not the easiest to see. All right. So one of the things that I do suggest again is get in and play. Place a bunch of orders. Figure out how to get out of them. Pull up a whole bunch of charts, cancel them out, move them around, figure out where you want all this stuff, and have fun with it, because trading, you know, it's interesting, it's fun, it's almost seductive, it's flashy. get that stuff out of your mind before you actually start trading. Have some fun with this. Check out everything that you can see. Play with it for a while before you actually start getting into a trading combine, and certainly before funding your own account. We know where to find a chart now. We know where to find a dome, positions. You get a performance center that tells you how well you did. I don't really use this account, so I've got 30% winning trades made. Well, we're doing pretty good. And this was just horsing around. So you get performance center there. Also, you also have our dashboards at Topstep here. I'm gonna get rid of this. What other questions do we have? I think we're getting a little bit long here. Just looking at some of the questions here. Zach, we're going to be discussing indicators in the third week here. We're talking about the auction process, technical analysis, and fundamental analysis in day 2 and 3 of week 3. The thing about that is indicators are indicators. They work sometimes, they don't work sometimes. Nothing works every time, and nothing never works. When we talk about indicators, we're going to be talking about probably just a specific few of them. And because there are so many of them, we could put together a 2-week long, 8-hour a day program on looking at and understanding all of those indicators. Again, this is meant to be kind of basic information just to get you started. Yagora, the 45 minutes of graphs without knowing any terms. This wasn't necessarily about trading information. This was about using the trading platform. Nicholas, getting Coach T to work is something on the dashboard and something we should maybe look at adding it to these classes. Jack, how you doing?
I am doing just dandy, Hogue. I saw that you were kind of finishing up there, so I was getting ready for the questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but please continue.
Yeah, why in this dome do only allow left click on the mouse to put orders under and above the market? Well, the left click is to place a bid or an offer. The right click is to place a stop below the market, a sell stop below the market, or a buy stop above the market.
So I think one good general note here, everyone should be aware of, like, it's great that we have gone through this today and that we have videos in the help center on this, but really what Hogue said at the end about playing around with it yourself, or really any platform, they all have some of the main features we talked about, right? Like the dome, the graphs and stuff like that. You could watch a million videos on it, but it's like learning to computer code, right? Or learning a language. You can't just watch videos. You actually got to play around with it to understand it, right?
Very well. Very right.
Definitely play around with it, and make sure that the biggest takeaway is make sure that you get this all set before you start placing live trades wherever you're doing that. Because the last thing you want to do is like what happened to Hogue at the beginning of class, right? He couldn't find the dome where he had an active position going. That happens in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be frantic. You're going to be clicking around. Mistakes happen, man. Even in professional trading organizations, there's fat fingers, stuff happens, but you want to like minimize that so that you can just focus on executing your strategies. And now I'll look through a few questions as well. Hogue, what's the difference between the volume profile and market profile?
Okay, great question. When we're looking at the market profile, we're looking at price being the variable and time being the constant. So the market profile is based in acceptance over time. When we see something like this at the bottom, this is an unfair low. This is where sellers backed off and buyers took over. This is an unfair high. It didn't spend a lot of time there. For buyers, this would be a nightmare to buy it up here. They stopped buying it up there and sellers took over. It's one of the things about the market profile that I like more than volume profile is because I can see through time where price is being accepted. This is the volume profile. Now, there are things about the volume profile that I find useful as well, but I don't think you see as much information. The volume profile, the constant is volume. We've got this black line right here is the highest volume single price. It is the point of control, and it's considered the fairest price according to volume. It's been the price with the highest amount of volume. So people have been comfortable making transactions there. You still have a value area. You still have a value area here in the market profile. You have a value area in the volume profile. So the main difference, the constant is volume on the volume profile, the variable price. Market profile, the variable is price. The constant is time. You measure acceptance through time versus volume.
Cool. Yeah. And we'll dive further into market profile, obviously, later in the course. We have a whole session on that. Hogue, I'll put them both out there so we could kind of do this quickly. First, can you see daily settlement closes on here, or do you have to like go to the CME site and get those? And
Good
then
question.
second, once you're done with that, is there a way to show cumulative delta here?
Good question. Okay. Let's say settlements. If you go into your what is this? Can't think of the word. Quote board. Thank you. Quote
That's
board.
it.
There's a bunch of columns that are presented here, but if you go over here, you can select more columns. Available to us is settlement. If I just drag this over and put it over here by the symbol, let's go. Why is this? Drag and drop. Hang on. Select columns. Settlement. Why is this giving me a hard time? Probably because I'm presenting. Available, visible. Drag and drop. No. Let's take this out. This is a pickle.
Oh, okay. Someone is helping us here. Says you got to click those things. But I guess they're called the hamburger now. Those three lines next to settles there, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, but it just keeps knocking it to the left and doesn't bring it over.
Do you try double click? Just regurgitating the channel here.
Yeah, I mean, I do this. Double
Also,
click
this
is-
might be an important time to say that even if you have a lot of experience in these things, no one knows. As I'm looking through these questions too, there's some that I'm just gonna have to say that I don't know or put you somewhere else. No one knows everything about everything. And
100%.
I think that would be impossible in trading. So we're gonna try our best there, but don't take it as personal if we just say we don't know on something.
I can't. I've never seen this. Let's see if we can get a different metals. Look at this. This is ridiculous. All right. Well, normally you could drag that into visible and you would be able to see the settlement price right on your quote board.
Yeah, we'll look into that. Geez, someone with a good question. Once again, the things we don't know. Someone asked, can we use @es.d? Can someone in the comments maybe put what that is? We'll wait to see that. Why would you want to add a legacy chart, Hogue?
The legacy charts, they have a little bit of a different look to them. And to be honest, I've seen days missing on the new charts, but the new charts have the TPO charts.
Different features. It's kind of the way that with a lot of programs you use, you'll go to legacy or stuff like that. We'll take a final 2 questions here. And once again, we'll get to more of these questions overall. Like there's a lot in there today, and we'll be able to stay on these platforms and ask as we go along. First, Juan asked, can you explain, is there a way to set the max contracts to trade in Trade-of-8 or TST Trade-of-8 so that you can deal with the scaling plan?
Well, the only thing I can suggest is you got your quantities here. You just have to make sure that you're careful and you don't over leverage. If you put a position on that's too big, get out immediately. You do have a small buffer to do that. We do not have that function afforded us by Trade-of-8.
Yeah. We're not the ones in the Topstep office that are creating the platform here. So there's certain things that we like to do one way or another, but it's not necessarily possible sometimes. Is that a good way to put it, Hogue?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And 1 second. Lastly, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, someone asked that in the well, I'll look for another question here right now. We'll get to a lot of the market profile stuff later.
Yeah, market profile, week 4, day 2. Intro to market profile.
Yeah.
Now that we know where it is.
Okay, well, I think that's probably a good place to end it for today then. And then once again, bring your questions and yeah, look at the syllabus where you want to show up and when. It's not the end of the world. If you want to pop in for the Q&A, if you only have time for that someday, we'll be doing it at the end of all these classes. So go ahead and do that. Once again, we're starting back up the podcast this week. Should come out Thursday night with me and Dan Hodgman. We're going to record it live at the 3 p.m. Recap on Thursdays from here on out. So that's a little synergy there. And then you can join Hogue at what time do you start again? 7:45. 7:45, and then 3 o'clock for the close with Dan. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. And group coaching is today, right, Hogue?
Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's at this time on Wednesdays, and then hot piece of goss here. Probably after we're done with this course, we'll move to having 2 sessions of group coaching a week if you want to have your questions answered. In the meantime, it's been wonderful seeing y'all, and I'll let Hogue sign us off here.
Gonna give you the registration link for group coaching, which begins here in just a couple of minutes. Feel free to join me. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a good one. Tomorrow is going to be a fun session. We'll be talking about the cardinal rules of trading. Trading floor professionals used to have dirty old trading cards in their pocket that had some basic rules to remind themselves of the things that they didn't want to do, but probably did anyway. It's going to be a fun one tomorrow. Be Thursday. Look forward to seeing you there. And I'll see you in group coaching if you'd like to attend in about 5 minutes. And until then, trade well.